Harbo, namaste. Welcome to Yoga Kirtan Hawaii's Experience Meditation Evening. I'm your host, Maha Bhagavatas, and today's election day, so I'm not sure how many people will be watching. We're all sort of on edge, wondering who's going to win. Anyway, so Yoga Kirtan Hawaii, you can find us at yogakirtanhawaii.com and obviously on Facebook and Instagram. So Yoga Kirtan Hawaii is based on Oahu, Hawaii, and we offer different kind of programs, classes and events, including Hatha Yoga and Kirtan and meditation classes. All events are free or donation based, and actually everything's currently online, so at Facebook Live, so it's definitely all free. And Yoga Kirtan Hawaii is the outreach arm of the Science of Identity Foundation, which was founded by Jagatguru Siddhasarupananda Paramahansa, who's a disciple of His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. So my spiritual teacher, or Jagatguru, is coming in a long line of spiritual teachers, which is known as the Brahma, Madhva, Gaudiya Sampradaya. So a Sampradaya is a lineage or a tradition. And this spiritual lineage begins with the Supreme Person himself. So in our program tonight, we're going to be teaching 3 types of meditation, Kirtan, deep peace breathing, and Japa meditation. And so the Kirtan is a group practice. The Guranga breathing is can be either done in a group or just individually. And the Japa is chanting on beads, something you can do on your own personally. And after teaching these 3 kinds of meditation, then this will be followed by a short yoga wisdom class, and then some Kirtan after that. And so we should be done at around 8, little after 8. So Kirtan is the chanting of transcendental sound vibrations or mantras. And mantra is a Sanskrit word which comprised of two parts, man, which refers to the mind, and tra, which means to draw away. So a mantra is a transcendental sound vibration which draws the mind away from this material world and focuses it onto the spiritual world. And the mantras themselves are either the names of the Supreme Person, words spoken by him, or words about him. And these transcendental mantras are a little like a lifeline. They're like a lifeline being thrown to us from the spiritual world, coming down through this sampradaya or disciplic succession that I spoke of. And we can actually grab hold of these mantras just like one grabs hold of a lifeline and is pulled out of the ocean. We can grab hold of these mantras and be pulled up to the spiritual world. So we're going to be chanting the mantra Gopala, Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala, Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. And so bring this mantra into your body, mind and heart, and rest in the sound of the mantra. And if your mind begins to wander, just pull it back to the sound of the mantra. Just rest in the sound of the mantra. So Kirtan is done in a call and response manner, and my wife Radhi Shamdasi will lead and I will follow, and you can join in with me.
Welcome everybody, and I'm glad you were able to join us tonight. I just dropped something. Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana Gopala Govinda
was the Kirtan. And so now we'll do some deep peace breathing. And so to do this, just actually, why don't I give you the harmonium first?
Okay, thank you.
So to do this, just be aware of how you're sitting. Just sit comfortably with your chest open and your hands on your knees or wherever you're comfortable placing them. Close your eyes and become aware of your breath as you breathe in and out. So as you're breathing in and out, just relax. Try and relax the different parts of your body. Just starting with your feet, and then your calves, and your thighs, your stomach area, your chest, your shoulders, your hands, your arms, your neck, your face. And so just continue breathing in and out, just focusing on the breath. And so now we're going to add the Goranga, Go-Ra-Anga mantra to the breathing. So as you breathe in, say silent in your mind, Go-Ra-Anga. And then as we breathe out, we'll say the mantra out loud, Go-Ra-Anga.
Should I play?
Yeah. So you can. continue to breathe in and out. So the Guranga breathing is an individual practice that you can do, and it's that by doing it with the breath, it helps to focus the mind. And this is a meditation practice that you can do, pretty much anywhere, but just sitting comfortably somewhere at home, or perhaps out at a beach or wherever you like to go. You can do it lying in bed. It's a good practice for stilling the mind as you're preparing to go to sleep. So the third kind of meditation practice we're going to do is Japa Yoga, and this is an individual practice, and it's done chanting on beads. And so we do this, just chanting quietly to ourselves. We actually say the mantra out loud. This is a practice that's good to do. It's like a personal spiritual practice. It's good to do first thing in the morning, which is what's known as Sattva Guna, or the mode of goodness. And just everyone can appreciate that in the morning before the sun comes up, or just as the sun's coming up, it's a very good time for being contemplative. Before what's known as the mode of passion, or Raja Guna, sort of kicks in, and we get very sort of busy and focused on what we're doing for the day. And another good time to do it is at midday, at high noon, at the change from the morning to the afternoon. So another good time for a contemplative meditation practice, or in the evening, just at around sunset as the sun goes down. But any time is good. Any time you have a moment to chant Japa meditation is a good time. So Japa meditation is a practice that involves counting. So on the beads, and if you don't have beads, we can send you beads. Please send us an email to yogakirtanhawaii@gmail.com, and we'll happily send you some beads. And if you don't have beads to use tonight, you can use a necklace, or any sort of beads that you may have. So these beads, they engage the sense of touch, in that we hold the beads with our thumb and the third finger, not with this finger, and you sort of roll the bead as you chant the mantra, and we'll be chanting the Gopala, Govinda, Rama, Madana, Mohana mantra on the beads. And as you move from one bead to the next, you sort of roll on to the next bead. And we chant the mantra once on each bead. And going around the beads one time is called a round, right? Because we go around the beads. And so in this way we can keep count. And so the idea with Japa meditation is that it's good to do a regular, consistent amount each day. So maybe it's good to start with 1 or 2 rounds, and then just try and do it consistently on a daily basis. It's not so good to do 1 round today, 10 tomorrow, 0 the next day, 5 the day after that, 0 the next day, then 20 or something like that. It's best to be consistent. Of course, it's good to set a minimum number, whatever it may be, 1 or 2, and there may be on occasion that you feel motivated or have the time to chant on beads a little bit more. So that's good too, but always sort of maintaining that steady level. And so again, as we chant the Gopala, Govinda, Rama, Madana, Mohana mantra, the idea is to, you can sort of sit with your eyes sort of partially closed, and the idea is to focus the mind on the mantra. So if you feel your mind beginning to wander, that's okay, just sort of gently bring it back to the sound. And again, these mantras are like a transcendental lifeline. And so we can actually take shelter in and rest within the mantra. So, if whilst we're chanting out loud, just quietly on the beads, you can also be chanting in your mind at any time. And that is also, it can be considered a form of japa. So, you can be chanting the mantra, anytime, right? You may be speaking to someone and you can have the mantra going in your mind at the same time. And so the chanting of these transcendental mantras is purifying. Indeed, Lord Chaitanya, one of the incarnation of the Supreme Person who appeared in Bengal, India in the 15th century, he, composed 8 prayers, which are known as the Shikshataka, that he left for us. And the first one goes, Chaito Dapana Marjanam, Bhava Mahadavagni Navapanam. So, Chaito Dapana Marjanam means cleansing the mirror of the heart and mind. So, cleansing the mind. And through the Sankirtan or the Kirtan movement. So as we chant this mantra and focus our mind upon it, it's actually purifying for our heart and mind. So anyways, so we'll chant one round, and please chant along with me. And we start on the head bead, and we'll go around once. Gopala, Govinda, Rama, Madana, Mohana. 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 Gopala, Govinda Rama Madana Mohana. Gopala 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 Govinda Rama Madana Mohana. Haribo, namaste. So that was a round. And once again, if you don't have beads, you can email us at yogakirtanhawaii@gmail.com, and we'll happily send you a set of beads. So I'm going to give a short yoga wisdom class, and so before I speak on yoga wisdom, first I would like to offer my respects unto my spiritual teacher, Jagat Guru Siddhasarupananda, who's very kindly taught me this ancient yoga wisdom, coming in this disciplic line or sampradaya, the Brahma, Madhva, Gaudiya sampradaya that I earlier mentioned. And this, sometimes this yoga wisdom or this this sampradaya is known as Bhagavat Dhamma. And so Bhagavat Dhamma, Bhagavat refers to the Supreme Person. Bhaga means full of opulence, or opulences, and Van means full of. So, and Dhamma means path or duty or responsibility, and so on. So this teachings is sometimes known as Bhagavat Dhamma, and these teachings are founded upon the ancient yoga texts, the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, which most everyone has heard of, like it's the most famous yoga text, which was a conversation between Arjuna and Krishna on a battlefield. And then the second main yoga text is the Srimad Bhagavatam, and this is a much longer literature. Like the Bhagavad Gita is 700 Sanskrit verses, whereas the Srimad Bhagavatam is approximately 18,000 verses. And this is very much known as the brilliant Purana, which shines light in this current age, which is known as Kali Yuga, or the age of quarrel, chaos, and confusion. So I was going to speak a little on a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, which is from the ancient yoga text, which is from the 7th canto. So this ancient yoga text, the Srimad Bhagavatam, has 12 cantos or books, sub-books to it. And so this particular text I'm going to read is from the 7th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And this text, I guess, to just perhaps give a little bit of background first. So the ancient yoga teachings, the very first thing that someone needs to understand is that we're not this material body. In other words, we need to understand, well, who am I? What is my identity? Why are we here in this material world? Why am I in this particular body? And what's the purpose of it all? What's the purpose of life? Who am I? Why am I here? And what is the purpose of life? And what is, why am I suffering? Why do I experience bad things? Why is there death? Why is there disease? So all these kind of questions, anyone with intelligence should actually be inquiring into these different questions. And so the very sort of foundational teaching or understanding that one gains as one inquires into what is the purpose of life, through studying yoga wisdom, and in particular studying the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. The very first things in Bhagavad Gita that Krishna teaches is about our actual identity. That we are spiritual in essence. We are not material. We are not these bodies. So this is known as the science of identity. And I mentioned that Yoga Kirtan Hawai'i is an arm, the outreach arm in Hawaii here, or on Oahu specifically, of the Science of Identity Foundation. So the Science of Identity studies and delves into and provides answers to these questions of who am I, why am I here, and why am I suffering. So the very first part of the Science of Identity is understanding my essence, that I'm spiritual in essence, that I am what's known as an Atma, or a life particle. And the symptom of this life particle, or Atma, is consciousness. So, in other words, wherever there is a spirit soul or an Atma, there is this, the symptom of it is consciousness. So in other words, I'm conscious of my body. And my body, when I leave this body, when I, the spirit soul, leave this body, then no one will be conscious of this body, and the body will cease to function and will immediately start to break down. And someone can come along and kick it, and no one will be in the body to complain about it. And there's various different ways we can understand that we're not the body, but the simplest and easiest way is to accept the authority of the yoga texts, in particular the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna in chapter 2 makes clear in so many different ways and explains that we're not actually this material body. And so similarly, that we're not this material body composed of flesh and blood. Similarly, we're not the subtle material body, which is the mind, intelligence, and ego. It's like a stream of mind stuff, of thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And we can actually, and memories and whatever else it might be. It's a little bit like watching a movie. You can actually watch the mind. It's like the silent witness technique actually does that, where you can just sort of sit silently and actually watch your mind pretty much just as you're watching a movie. And you can just be aware that I am viewing the contents of my mind. So the first part of the science of identity is understanding that I'm spiritual in essence, that I'm not this gross physical body and I'm not the subtle material body. The second part, which of the science of identity, builds upon this first basic understanding that I'm spiritual in essence, and teaches that I'm not the Supreme Spirit, rather I'm the dominated part and parcel of the Supreme. In other words, I'm a spiritual spark, but I'm not the Supreme Spirit. I'm the dominated part and parcel. And of course we can all easily appreciate how we are dominated, because who here chose to take birth? It just happened to us. So many things just happen to us, and so we take birth in this particular kind of body, and we have to eat, we have to sleep, we have to urinate, we have to pass stool, we get cold, we get hot. So all these things, just show how we are dominated. We're dominated by the weather, we're dominated by the climate. We're dominated by our body having to act in the way that our body requires us to act. We're dominated by other people. When we're kids, initially we're dominated by our parents. And later on we become perhaps dominated somewhat by our partner or spouse. And so anyway, in so many different ways we're dominated and subject to laws, either natural laws or social laws or laws of the government, society's expectations, so on and so forth. We're dominated in so many different ways. And the third aspect of the science of identity is, understanding that I'm spiritual in essence, the first part, that I'm the dominated, what is my position? I'm not the Supreme Person. I'm the dominated part and parcel of the Supreme. And then building upon this understanding of essence, position, then the third part of the science of identity is, what is my function? And my function as a spiritual eternal being, but not the Supreme spiritual being, rather the dominated part and parcel of the Supreme. Then my function is to actually engage in a loving relationship with the Supreme Person. And so this is actually the meaning of yoga. Yoga means to link up or to achieve union with the Supreme. And so initially we engage in what's known as devotional service or bhakti yoga. And this is, we don't actually have this loving relationship, but this loving relationship develops over time, and fructifies into pure love. So these meditation processes that we've learned here tonight, Kirtan and the deep peace breathing and the Japa meditation, if we engage in these processes regularly, then we will come to realize our actual essence is spiritual. We'll appreciate that I'm not the Supreme Spirit, and the understanding will grow and develop that my function is to serve the Supreme and to engage in a loving relationship with Him. And we can actually develop this love. This love is innate within us. It's part of the nature of the soul, is to love. We all like to love and to be loved. This is actually the goal of the living being. And so yoga is the proper direction of this loving tendency of the soul. So the verse I wanted to read from Srimad Bhagavatam says, materialistic activities are always mixed with three kinds of miserable conditions: Adhyatmika, Adidaivika, and Adibhautika. So the Adhyatmika means miseries caused by the material body and mind. Adidaivika is miseries caused by the natural forces. And Adibhautika is miseries caused by other living entities, by other people, by mosquitoes, by whatever other hassles are caused by other people. Therefore, even if one achieves some success by performing such activities, in other words, materialistic activities, what is the benefit of this success? One is still subjected to birth, death, old age, disease, and the reactions of his fruitive activities. So everyone in the material world is engaged in what's known as fruitive activities, meaning I'm doing things because I want to get some fruit, some result. In other words, so I go to work and work for my boss, who I don't particularly like that much, but I work for my boss because I want to get money, and so money is the fruit. Of course, money of its in and of itself isn't that satisfying. One can achieve some kind of mental satisfaction out of having a big bank account, or a bank account with some money in it. But really, the money represents that I'm able to buy things, so fruit. And so, even as a child, we engage in activities with the expectation of some kind of result from it. I'd be nice to someone because I want them to be nice back to me. Or I'm nice to my mummy because I want her to give me something good to eat. So always this kind of fruitive activity essentially is where I see myself as the center, and this world revolves around me. And so I'm the most important person. I'm satisfying my material senses, or satisfying this body, is the most important thing. That's what I think about all day long. I and me and mine, me and mine. That's all I think about. What am I doing? And this is mine. This is my relative, my stuff. So we think like this. And we engage in different activities in the effort to get some fruit. And but what this text in Srimad Bhagavatam is explaining is that even while I'm engaged in these activities, these materialistic activities where I'm trying to satisfy the senses of this body and trying to enjoy myself in this world, but still I'm always experiencing these three kinds of miseries. So even though I'm trying so hard to enjoy myself and to get the things that I want, to experience the fruit that I want, nonetheless I'm experiencing miseries caused by my own body and mind, right? My body gets diseased, or I stub my toe, or it grows old, so it causes me difficulty, or else my mind is hassling me. It's like I can't control my mind, or it's, I develop some kind of psychosis or something. And adibhautika, so a misery I experience caused by other living entities, other people. So we experience this from a young age. If we have a sibling, God, this other sibling is just a hassle, man. They're always hassling me, Or we go to school and there's some bully there, and so I experience misery from being bullied. Or there's mosquitoes. or there's somebody with a loud motorbike that rides by, or loud cars that go thundering by, or roosters that crow and wake me up in the morning. So many other living entities causing us different difficulties and miseries. And then there's the natural forces which we can't control. Like, for example, the current pandemic. It's like an adidavika. It's like a misery caused by a natural force. I mean, it's caused so much difficulty and misery for so many people. It's just one example. There's hurricanes and typhoons and so on and so forth. So even while we're engaged in these materialistic activities of trying to achieve happiness, at the same time we're experiencing miseries caused by our own body and mind, miseries caused by other living entities, and miseries caused by natural forces totally beyond anyone's control. And so therefore, the verse continues, therefore if one achieves some success by performing such activities, so even though there's these different miseries that we experience, and even if we achieve some sort of material success, attaining a bank account, or attaining a good job, or a good relationship, or being able to, buy clothes, or whatever it may be. So what's the benefit of it? What's the benefit of it? One is still subjected to birth, to death, to old age, and disease. This is known as Janma, Mritu, Jara, and Vyadi. So, regardless of how hard you work, still you will be subjected to birth, death, old age, and disease, and the reactions, or the karma, the karmic reactions of your different fruitive activities. If you engage in activities in a self-centered way, then you are subject to reactions. If you engage in good activities, you get good karma. And if you engage in bad activities, or sinful activity, impious activities, then you will experience suffering in the future. In other words, you cause harm to someone, or pain to someone, then you will experience that pain yourself in the future. So this is the nature of activity in this world. We, while we're active in this world, we're experiencing miseries caused by our body and mind, miseries caused by other living entities, miseries caused by natural and social forces, and we're subjected to birth, diseases, old age, and death. And we experience bad results as a result of our past activities. And so this is actually what this world is like. This is life in the material world. We experience things like this. So we should appreciate that actually, as according to the science of identity, I am spiritual in essence. I'm not the Supreme Spirit, I'm the dominated part and parcel of the Supreme, and that my function is to render loving service to the Supreme Person. So this is the purpose of life, or the goal of life, to engage in this loving devotional service, or to link up in yoga with the Supreme. This is the purpose of life. And so you are an eternal spirit soul. Life is not just a one-shot deal in this particular body. You go from body to body, and you can break free of this cycle of birth and death, or what's known as samsara, the wheel of birth and death. You can break free of this by engaging in the yoga practices that we've taught tonight, that we've engaged in tonight, the kirtan, the deep peace breathing, the japa meditation, and study of yoga wisdom. So, thank you very much for listening. Please take the process of kirtan and the hearing and chanting of the sacred transcendental sound vibrations, and please consider the yoga wisdom that I've shared with you tonight from the Srimad Bhagavatam, the ancient yoga text. and please seek out a solution to these real problems of life. So for more yoga wisdom, I give a couple of other, I speak yoga wisdom at Yoga Kirtan Hawai'i 3 times a month. This experience meditation evening, a soul journey evening, and a Bhagavad Gita class. So these are all in our calendar at yogakirtanhawaii.com, or also at our Facebook page and Instagram. And so we have different activities on Facebook Live almost every day. So please avail yourself of these. And once again, if you'd like to get a set of beads, you can email us at yogakirtanhawaii@gmail.com. So thank you very much for listening, and we'll just do a short kirtan to wrap up this evening's program. So thank you very much. Radhisham, you coming?
Forgot to ask what time you want to be.
Well, not sure. Yeah, you can tell her.
Namaste. Go Haribo.
Oh, namaste. Thank you for joining us.
Hope you had a nice evening with us.